I quit social media marketing and I completely shut everything down, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why.
In this video, I'm going to be exposing the truth about SMMA that some of your favorite gurus have been hiding from you.
It's extremely hard to get clients. That is much due to the oversaturation of everybody on YouTube figuring out how good of a business model this is and how easy it is to get from 0 to 10K a month.
But I'm here to keep it 100% real with you and tell you that that is never going to happen.
Most gurus sell you the dream of the agency being the best vehicle to escape the
9-to-5 life and have ultimate time, location, financial.
Look at all these young gentlemen telling you that marketing agencies are saturated. Here's the proof they cite it in their videos. Do you see the proof? Yeah, I can't fucking see it either. And I have a problem with that because
I lack the ability to tolerate horse shit. And this is horse shit!
I went deep down the rabbit hole to find an answer to these questions. Is the agency market saturated? Does it even make sense to still sell high-ticket marketing services? Look no further. I got all the proof. I mean, seriously, I got all the proof. But of course you're asking yourself, who the F am I? I started my agency back in 2016, sold services everywhere in the world from my mom's basement, peaked at 30K a month in year number 1, obviously moved out of my mom's place because everything else would have been very weird. You know, contrary to course selling teenagers, this is not a joke. This YouTube space is infested with terrible online business advice. And in an attempt to control this pest that is young money influencer YouTube right now, I want to be able to say,
for the future,
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
So let's dive straight into the proof, shall we? Imagine there was somebody out there who wasn't a teenager on YouTube who acted like he knew everything about everything, who would just show you the proof. I mean, yeah, that person is me. I'm just here to give you everything that you need to make an informed decision for this year and the next few years, whether or not you want to build a business that has to do with marketing, SMMA, whatever you might call it, because there are like 50 million names by now for this business model, all right? Now, there are 3 questions that we have to ask ourselves in order to decide whether or not this is going to be a business model that we feel is going to be too competitive, right? Question number 1, how many companies exist? For this example, we focus on the US, but I will also talk about the situation globally. Question number 2, how many agencies exist? And question number 3, how many companies per agencies exist? This is pretty simple to figure out. I did some Google searches and you can find the source linked at the bottom of this video and every single slide of this presentation. How many companies exist? 33.2 million small businesses exist in the US alone. How many agencies exist? You can see right here at the bottom of this stat, like the bright blue pillar, that's just advertising agencies. And for this comparison, we focus on just advertising agencies because that's what we usually are. And there are about 14,000 agencies that focus on advertising in the US as of right now. So question number 3, how many companies per agencies exist? And I know what you are thinking. Wait, that's way too simple. Yeah, that would be way too simple. So as you can see, the video is a bit longer than 2 minutes. And so wait and listen to what I will tell you about this. So there are 33.2 million companies, as we established, 14,000 advertising agencies. So the math is quite simple here. 33.2 million companies divided by 14K agencies. And that means there are 2,371 companies per agencies. There are a couple of valid questions to bring up, right? And say, hey, it's not that easy. And yeah, it's not that easy. Not every company needs my services, right? Yeah, of course, out of all the 33.2 million companies, not every single one requires whatever you offer or like want to offer. May that be Facebook ads, TikTok ads, email marketing, whatever you chose to go for, right? And also, many companies run their marketing in-house, right? Yeah, absolutely correct. But let me tell you, many clients that I have signed, they had their marketing in-house, but that doesn't mean they have an expert that they hired that would cover digital marketing. So to give you a practical example, I have clients who have enough marketers in-house that handle all the content creation and everything that has to do with organic growth of their social media profiles. But when it comes to running ads, they had no one, so instead of hiring somebody full-time, it would still make sense for a company that has marketing in-house to go and work with an agency. So what if we consider international companies and freelancers that target the US, right? Because I mean, you must know that there are like a million people from India, for example. Shout out to everybody from India who's hustling, who like to target US companies as well. Yeah, that's a very fair point. Of course, that means the number of agencies is going to be significantly higher than what it would be in this example that I've just shown you. And also, what about the bad economy, inflation, and so on and so on? Well, isn't that the reason why these companies need your help? I mean, they are in a situation where money is tight. If you think that the bad economy actually matters, then I gotta burst that bubble as well. Most people would argue that during the time, when we had these things in our faces, it was the worst time for an agency to sign clients, especially if these clients had physical locations, because many locations had to close. Well, in that time frame, I signed 3 clients back to back in 3 calls worth $75,000 a year. How could I do that? Well, exactly for the reason that I've mentioned. These business owners realized times are tough, so we have to market more. An argument for anything at all, then it's an argument to sign more clients. But yeah, I listen to, every pessimist here. So let's go hyper pessimistic for a second. So here's a super pessimistic calculation if you want to be pessimistic. Let me just say that in the US, only a third of all these companies would actually be realistically interested in any marketing service you could offer. That's only 11 million companies. And then let us say that the actual number of agencies, it would be 3 times as high just because of all the foreign agency owners and like foreign freelancers and so on. So let's say we have these numbers and then we do the calculation again. Surprise, it is still 261 companies per agencies. But actually, let's focus on reality for a moment, right? So again, it's 33.2 million companies, but you can offer multiple services, right? I mean, you could offer SEO, but you could also offer Facebook ads or any kind of other platform. You could offer AI related services. Like you can help a business with generative AI already, help them generate content as one of many examples, copywriting, sales copy, funnels, you name it. I mean, that alone would multiply the number when we are talking about chances. How many clients can you sign? And then also how many services can you sell them? Because these numbers are not like 1-to-1, as in one company and one service, right? Also, there are 5 million new companies being registered every single year. I will get to that later as well. And also, let's not forget that if you speak English at least, I mean, you can target Canada, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and so many other countries in the world. Plus, it's not that hard to find somebody in any of these other countries to represent your business and helping you signing clients even in another language. And by the way, if you're interested in the exact numbers, I looked that up as well, but these are just like rough estimates of the businesses registered in these countries. So these numbers, again, are not 100% accurate, but just an estimation. Anyway, let's do the math on that. So at the bottom you can see that would be an additional 16 million companies. And if you were to add these 16 million companies to the 33 million companies in the US, you would have a number very close to 50 million companies that you could reach out to. If you still think it's unrealistic for you or anybody else to come in as a beginner to sign even just 10 or 20 clients, then I have to tell you, we are just getting started. I haven't even shown you the real proof. So when you look up the actual numbers for growth projections, then you can find out that agencies are going to basically 2x in the next few years. And these are, by the way, global numbers, and the growth projection is something like 123%. Also, digital ad spend will grow by 44%. Of course, there are different estimations that you can find on these numbers, and I just show you one here. So depending on what you find, it can be a bit more optimistic or pessimistic. Speaking of competition, we also have to keep in mind that your competition sucks. I mean, look at the age of the average agency right here. You can see there are about a third of agencies that are not even 10 years old, including mine, and have been around for a long time. So when you keep that in mind, that there are so many beginners in the market, what does that mean? Well, these are not established businesses, these are beginners, and many of them will leave the market again as well. But looking at the old agencies, it also means that some of the old agencies for sure are going to go away, retire, merge with other agencies. The boomers are going to slowly but surely leaving the market over the next few decades. So there are huge opportunities as well when you just look at that fact. Again, like I mentioned earlier, just in the US alone, there are 5 million new companies being registered every single year, and the number is growing and growing, as you can see. But let's also have a look at artificial intelligence, because that's going to play a massive role in digital marketing as well in the next few years. You can see right here, when you look at 2023, where we are right now with that. And to make a long story short, AI combined with digital marketing is going to be $1 trillion market growth industry in the next few years. And this is just my personal prediction and just something that I want to say here, but I'm not going to go into detail much here, because on this entire channel you can find a lot of videos about this topic already. Digital marketing agencies are going to transform and become AI marketing agencies. Now, that being said, I have a few final questions for you. If you're still doubtful, if you are still very fearful because of all these videos you have consumed over the months and years about how everything is so saturated and there is no way for you to start this business, then let me ask you, if saturation is really a problem, can you explain Marvin Tellius? He made $33,000 in a single month. He decided to start this business about 4 to 5 months ago. And back then, he had no background in digital marketing or AI or any of this stuff. If saturation is a problem, can you explain Thomas, who signed 7 clients in the first 3 months, got to approximately 10K per month, started selling simple landing pages as a service for up to $500? I mean, how would any of this be possible if all of these markets would be saturated? I mean, I'm just asking questions. Or look at Gregory over here. He sent out 6 video messages and he got 1 call booked already with a huge company, and it got him the opportunity to pitch their board of directors. How would any of this be possible? A company with a board of directors, you would think, hey, if that market is saturated, I mean, they must have been knowing how to handle their marketing, right? I mean, that makes no sense if the market is so saturated and so competitive. Or look at Evangelos, who I guess that would be one of the people that you have to be so afraid of if you're in the US and you're thinking about people who sign US clients, but they're not even in the US, because he is in Greece. And I worked with him back like 4 or 5 years ago, and he's still going strong, working with companies in the US. Or explain this guy, aka me, who made videos about this on this channel right here, how he's charging up to $1,722 an hour. On the left screenshot, that's literally taken from the video right here. You can also see right here, I did the same thing again in January and posted about that in our internal Slack community, in our internal coaching group. If saturation is a problem, then explain these jobs. You can just look for marketing jobs all over the world, and you can find that at any time you have like over 100K job offers that you can find. I mean, if the market is so saturated, why do all of these companies hire people who would take over the same tasks that you would take over if you were to come in as an agency and work with these companies? If you came to this video with the same mindset like these YouTube influencers, then the problem is that you fell for their strategy. And here's step number 1 that they use. They put fear in your mind. Step number 2, they discourage you from actually starting this business. Step number 3, they offer you a so-called new solution. But the irony here is that it's just the old solution in disguise. It's just repackaged. And step number 5, of course, is profit. See, what do I mean by that? If you look at all of these influencers, and by the way, I'm not talking specifically about the people that I've shown you in this video, I'm talking about YouTube in general, then you will find out that what they basically do is they try to tell you, hey, SMMA has died, this is the new whatever name they call it, and then ultimately, if you think about it, okay, they tell me to basically create, as an example, a YouTube agency, right? Because they tell me now the hot shit is going to be working with YouTubers, or I don't know, the hot shit is going to be creating a content agency all of a sudden. Ultimately, all of this is still the same business model. It's a marketing agency, but whether you focus on creating your own email marketing agency or an AI agency or whatever agency, it's going to be up to you. Ultimately, it's still the same model. They just took a different niche, a sub niche within the model, and tried to tell you everything else doesn't work anymore. But guess what? All of it still works. All of it. And this is the best breakdown of the make money online YouTube lifestyle right now. I mean, do I have to say anything more? And of course, obviously, what you can see right here, that is the new business model course. The question that I have for you is that you? Do you want to be this person? Do you want to cheer for this BS? Well, I don't want to. And in this video, to end this video, would you take relationship advice from a 12-year-old? I guess not. So why do you take business advice from teenagers or people who have been in this space for like 2 years? There are a lot of helpful resources right here on this channel. Check it out. Have a good rest of your day.